Hey, Crypto Growth fam, how's it going? This is your host Shazib signing in. We're back with another video, folks. Flare Networks unlocking the world of crypto. It's going to be an interesting one, guys, so make sure to watch till the end. And, folks, for those of you who are new to the channel, we primarily discuss utility coins and potential gems. If you're interested in any of that stuff, then subscribe the channel and hit the notification icon for regular videos. Folks, let's check Flare out and what's happening. This is a video that I wanted to share with you guys for a while now. Building DeFi and AI on Flare, an interesting one, folks. In this video, we're going to be learning how BTC can be utilized in the Flare ecosystem, how Flare Network is unlocking the potential of crypto and the world of finance as a whole. So let's check this out.
Description of Flare. If someone wanted to build a poly market on Bitcoin, on XRP, or Ripple, then you guys would be able to provide that functionality where it's like, hey, here's all the data feeds that could come in, like your app, and there's going to be other tools involved, but you guys could help build out what you can't do directly on Bitcoin itself.
Exactly, yeah. So Bitcoin, it would be possible to use the asset Bitcoin as input collateral for the system. You would also be able to facilitate smart contract-based actions on Flare depending upon assets moving around on the Bitcoin chain. So you can kind of reach a level of chain abstraction to some extent with Flare because you can prove events taking place on external chains using our oracles. So yeah, you could use Bitcoin as an input currency to open a kind of a prediction market position on a poly market on Flare, or you could also open a perpetual position if you wish to.
Yeah. And from your job in the head of ecosystem, head of growth, and you're looking at people building on Flare, is this where you're approaching some of these existing communities and you're trying to build bridges, you're trying to offer them up some, hey, here's some use cases, do you have these problems, specifically like Bitcoin community or Ripple community, both communities that can be very tribalistic. I think we'll talk to a few and they don't always get along with each other, but in this regard, you're someone that extends a hand and says, hey, here's some functionality we can enable.
Yeah, I think so. The thing I always come back to with Flare is that when our founders read the Bitcoin white paper and we're kind of going through things like the Nakamoto coefficient and understanding the kind of the premise of the goals, the intentions that Bitcoin was set up, built, architected to solve. Really, we maintained that we were going to try and get as close to that and offer that utility to these external chains that maybe don't have that functionality built in. That's where Flare really thrives. And I think for builders coming and building on Flare that may be from those communities, we can say, look, you can use your assets as input currencies for the DeFi ecosystem. You can gain yield on those assets in a way that still adheres to the principles from those base chains. Our intention really is to maintain that decentralized infrastructure. We adhere to those principles strongly. And that's the core kind of guiding light for Flare, is to be able to offer this functionality to builders who maybe can't achieve those things on those chains.
Mm-hmm. And so you guys are doing is it a hackathon in Berkeley coming up?
Yeah.
In partnership with Google.
Yes.
We just talked about, one of our early guests was Rich Widman, head of Google Cloud's Web3 program. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about the hackathon.
So the hackathon is taking place, I think, from the 7th of March until the 9th of March. It's going to be in Berkeley. We partnered with the University of Waterloo. Obviously, Google Cloud is going to be present too, which is very exciting for us. The main focus of the event is going to be agentic AI and establishing verifiable AI within Google's TE infrastructure, which is called confidential space. And we're mainly aiming to basically have tracks that enable these builders to create interesting builds that make use of that infrastructure with regards to the LLM kind of technology that's proliferating at the moment.
Yeah, and we won't dive too deep into the TEEs, but trusted execution environments, and in a nutshell, correct me if I'm wrong, because you certainly know it better than I do, but basically providing safe ways for these new AI agents to interact with data, to perform functions without having access to everything. It's just like, hey, you can perform this function and access the data in a way that's secure and less ability to get hacked.
Yeah, it's kind of an extension of computation within secure enclaves. So you can really maintain that privacy element within the TE. And sort of one of the main reasons why that's interesting is that blockchain isn't really designed to be highly performant in terms of computation. If you've used some of the applications, some of the early AMMs, they're amazing in their design and the possibilities with smart contract functionality. But reaching feature-rich applications like you'd find on the App Store for Apple or on the Google Play Store isn't really what blockchain is designed for. Blockchain is really much designed for immutable, decentralized operations. So having a kind of an infrastructure of trusted execution environments as an extension to compute to enable more feature-rich applications to run is the main goal. And with agentic AI, you're probably familiar with some of the LLMs that run within these TEs or can be run within these TEs. That's kind of the main focus that we're kind of working on to enable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And agentic AI is very much in vogue at this stage.
What if I told you I made a functioning Roblox clone in under 60 seconds? What I did was use the warp.dev terminal.
Every conversation now, we didn't expect it. Should have researched more. But I think it's also good to be thinking about these things of where you see specifically, a lot of good use cases for agentic AI. But do you want to give your AI agent a credit card and just handle every internet task? Like, no, I don't feel comfortable always even giving Google Chrome my credit card to store and spend. So I think there's a lot of these things to be thinking through of hey, this can do all your tasks for you. This can, book your entire trip to Europe. But you're also at the side of, in the mercy of, you need to be able to have a AI that you can trust or that can't be hacked. I think coming off the Bybit hack, even the biggest, exchanges, are vulnerable. So it's good to be talking about these things early, being very cautious of how much power we give them.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's where the intersection of blockchain and AI is particularly interesting, because through the smart contracts of blockchains, you can actually effectively set the guardrails for the operation of the AI, of the LLMs running within these TEs. So I think it's an area that obviously requires a lot of work. There's going to be a lot of exploration. There's going to be huge amounts of funding that go into the space. And I'm excited to see kind of the builds that come out of the Google Hackathon.
Yeah.
And I'm also very interested, the next phase where ultimately what we're aiming to get to is enable this verifiable off-chain compute through a set of enshrined trusted execution environments. Because ultimately Flare's infrastructure with its native oracles and enshrined oracles offers that possibility in the future using that kind of unique architecture. So I'm keen to kind of see what the results are like with that whilst we're building out all of the functionality in terms of the DeFi hub for these non-smart contract chains.
Yeah. So what's the best way to follow Flare? As you guys go into the hackathon, are you guys going to be posting anything from it or some of the top projects? How can we kind of circle back on this and see what happens?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, following Flare, I think it's Flare Networks on X, Flare.network. The website will provide all of the information that anyone would require, plus all of the links to various social media. We do update socials every day. Our head of marketing and social content managers are amazing at Flare. I think they really help to communicate the essence of what we're doing in a way that can be understood by a broader audience. And it's definitely something that I think in the blockchain space, a lot of companies are wrestling with to some extent, because these things are complicated. And if you were to turn around back in 1995 and say, hey, listen, so there's going to be this protocol for mail that's going to be sent over the internet protocol. It's going to be various different things with regards to privacy that are going to be upcoming. Don't give away your password if anyone asks you. But there's huge amounts of basically educational work that's yet to be done. But I'm hoping that, at least from the Flare side of things, we're already well along that journey of educating our community, welcoming newcomers to the space.
Yeah, absolutely. And part of this is one thing that we definitely want to push and help educate on is, the next generation of people that are in college that are saying, hey, is AI going to replace software engineering? Can you use Replit to go build something or ChatGPT to go build something in Python? Just a few really
Folks, it's like the 90s when the internet revolution was taking place and the internet was being constructed as a proper idea to take over the globe. We saw it taking over the globe in the 2000s. Now we're seeing that area of utility, blockchain, DLT, where this is an idea. People are skeptic basically. They're saying that this won't do any good for anyone. And this is the time where projects like Flare Network, they're trying to integrate artificial intelligence and provide DeFi use cases. As you saw, that they're providing use cases for the grandfather itself, BTC as well, folks. So the marketing is good, and I agree that you need to make sure that the common person understands what's happening behind the scenes. And for that, good content managers are important to make people realize how good Flare Network is. So, talking about use cases, look at this. The F-asset system on Flare facilitates non-custodial over-collateralized bridging of XRP and the projects that do not have intrinsic smart contracts. Smart contracts enforce strict risk controls and the system kept honest by independent agents, liquidators, and challengers. Bridging is just the beginning. On Flare, now look at this. Now look at this. Talking about XRP, people are saying that XRP is going to be the biggest thing in finance, but Flare, on the other hand, wants to provide use case to XRP itself. XRP holders can lend, borrow, stake, restake, and mint synthetic stablecoins on Flare, folks. This is XRPFi, a new era of utility for XRP powered by decentralization. Flare is the new era of utility, folks, and those that are holding it, I saw a few categories over here. Look at this. The newest Flare rich list for your review. Almost 400 new wallets on FLR with more than 5k FLR. Songbird is struggling, but don't lose faith. It's priced to move when the all-time lows move. Okay. Alts move. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm going to be rephrasing myself. Not all-time lows. Alts move. Okay. Yeah. So let's check the Flare rankings out. Look at this. Percentile, Master Hodler, Light Master, Inferno Pack Leader, Scorched Warrior, 6 million to 8 million, WFLR. Look at this. Crimson Stalker, Blaze Slayer. Where are you, folks? Stealth Fighter Fox, Baby Fat Fox, Fox Cub, Yellow Claw, Orange Paw. Where are you in this list, and where do you want to be? What is your target? I mean, it is never enough. I have seen in the world of crypto that whenever you hold a project with conviction, it is never ever enough. But what do you guys think? What is enough for you? Let me know. Let the community know, by the way, on the comments. Let me share with you this post over here as well from King Karan. FXRP on the Flare network will cause a supply shock for XRP. So, if it causes a supply shock for XRP, imagine what it can do for Flare that will be utilized in the Flare ecosystem. So look at this. Yeah, XRP and FLR supply shock will be mind blowing.
The price of XRP will grow significantly once we have FXRP on the Flare network, and let me tell you why. So the whole process of actually minting your FXRP is that obviously you have to hold XRP. So once you have, let's say, 100 XRP and you want to mint FXRP on the Flare network, you actually also lock your XRPs that you have over here. You lock it, and then you receive the same amount of XRPs but into FXRP. So then you can lend, you can earn yield, you can stake, you can participate on the Flare network. But guys, have you heard what I said? You need to lock your XRP. So that means once you lock it and you receive FXRP and you make money from your own holdings, you actually make your own XRPs work. that supply that you swapped that is locked is actually out of circulation of XRP. So the more people are going to participate on the Flare network and they will let their XRPs work on the Flare network, their amount will be locked and it will be out of the supply, out of the circulating supply of XRP, and that will drive a supply shock. And you can guess what will happen with.
So, folks, what do you guys think about this new era of utility? I would really like your opinions. Do hit the comment box below and let the community know. Anyways, guys, this was it for the video. If you liked it, make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification icon if you're interested in utility coins and potential gems. And you can also support the channel by checking out Decent and its discounts, as well as Patreon by following the links in the description box below. Until next time, stay blessed and stay tuned. Thank you very much, everyone.